Hey you guys, what's up? It's your girl Cree. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you guys are new, and to my OG subscribers, thank you for coming back and tuning in. You guys, I already know that you've seen several videos, but I have just a few things that I may want to add. And so if that sounds like something that you guys would like to see, definitely continue to watch. If you guys find that you do like the content, please hit the like button for your girl. And I would love for you to subscribe and join the gang. This is actually my first 100 ml bottle from Kayali. So I showed you guys the box when I received it earlier in the week. I've had a few days to spend some time with this fragrance, and here it is. Now, I want you guys to first of all pay attention to the dent. Yeah, the dent is very much denting. So you guys already know I have given this fragrance some wear. Now, let me first start off by saying, just in case Mona is seeing these videos, which she may or may not be, but I've seen her in some videos where people don't have as many subscribers and she's commented. So just in case she is, I have one gripe. One thing that I do want to mention is that all of this dent is not from me. For whatever reason, I have other Kayali bottles that did not come like this. My dent was already, like, I've done about half of what you see. This bottle came to me probably from about like right up here. It was filled to about here. So, I mean, I've done a little damage, but I have not done this whole bottle. It already came with quite the significant dent, and my other bottles, like, they are 50 mils, so maybe I'll stick with that from now on, because if I'm gonna get 100 mil, I'm gonna need it to be full. Yeah, so I'm gonna need y'all to work on that, because no ma'am, it's completely unacceptable in my opinion. Not for as much as I paid. And by the way, you guys, I did pick mine up from Sephora. I do understand that Sephora's was a little bit more expensive. So if you guys are still in the market, I think Huda Beauty's is still out of stock. But Sephora, you may be able to pick it up there. It is more expensive. I was willing to take the chance because I knew I could just return it and get something different if I did not like it. And so me spending more on it would just mean I had more to use once I returned it. So I was okay with it. That was a risk I was willing to take. But as far as I know, you can go and smell it in the store right now. So it's no need to, you know, blind buy if you don't have to. Kind of went into the hype. You know, as soon as I seen it, I knew I was going to get it. I said that to my subscribers. I didn't have too many expectations because once the reviews started hitting the internet, it was just way too much variety. Like, a lot of people liked it and a lot of people didn't. There were so many things that I heard, and I was just like, you know what, let me just wait till I get the fragrance and just see. I'm not gonna act like I haven't heard what people have been saying and like I haven't seen any other reviews. I absolutely have, y'all. So let's just keep all of that separate, and we just gonna get into it right now. So here is the bottle. It's gorgeous. I love it. Of course, this is the Kayali Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar. It has the key notes on the back, and it shows candied pear, sweet violet, bubblegum, white caramel, rock sugar, and vanilla cream. So what you all came to see and what I was looking for in the videos. Number one, do I like this fragrance? Just gonna spray it out real quick. Yeah, spray it right here on my wrist, up my arm. I can be a heavy sprayer, y'all. It just depends on the fragrance. And with these, yeah, I'm heavy spraying. But all right. So now that the fragrance is in the air, let me be clear. I've been wearing this for the last few days. First thing in the morning before work and to bed. So I have gotten very acquainted with this fragrance. When I first spray this out, number one, do I like it? Yes. This is a very beautiful fragrance. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I am shocked to say so. I fully expected to not like this fragrance, y'all. Based off of the reviews that I had seen, I just felt like, ooh, maybe I made a mistake. So let me tell you what I'm getting. If I'm ignoring the notes, I'm gonna be honest. As soon as I smelled this fragrance, it reminded me of another fragrance. And surprisingly, it's not the fragrance that most people are talking about. I think you may find that I'm the only one who's mentioned the fragrance that I'm going to mention. At least I haven't seen anyone mention this fragrance. But this fragrance reminds me of a fragrance that I just recently hauled. I tested the fragrance out first, and then I purchased the big bottle. So I've become very acquainted with that fragrance. And I will mention that fragrance in just a moment. What kind of vibe does this fragrance give? At first spray, burst of sweetness, and I definitely get that bubble gum. I get something that is a little creamy, and I get the rum. And I know that to be the rum based off of the fragrance that I find that it's similar to also has that kind of note. For me, the pear in here is not like a pear that, like if I didn't know the notes and if I was just an average person that's going into Sephora to buy a fragrance, if I wasn't one who looked at notes like YouTube does, I wouldn't have been able to say, oh yeah, that's pear, that's pear. Personally, I wouldn't, if I'm just being honest. I just know that there is like a beautiful sweetness, and I feel like since they're saying it's pear, we're gonna go with pear, but the pear is like caramelized and bathing in the rum. That's my take on it, with like a dollop of the whipped cream maybe on top. That's kind of like what I got from it. Like a caramelized pear that is like sitting in rum with some bubble gum in the background. For me, the bubble gum much more prominent in the beginning, but I do feel like the bubble gum sticks around for quite a bit, and I think it kind of subsides in the deep dry down, but I can kind of see that it makes up the makeup of the fragrance, so it's still kind of there, but it's not the typical bubble gum like most people would think, like the Toy 2 bubble gum. Yeah, I was so hesitant about that because I don't care for that fragrance, so I really didn't want this to smell like it, and thank God it doesn't. Y'all, this to me is not like a super immature bubble gum. For me, this fragrance is not what I expected as far as like it being a little sister. If you guys know, Mona did make the reference that this was like Vanilla 28's little sister. I saw someone give the reference that they didn't feel like this was the little sister, that this was the big sister. Honestly, to me, I definitely wouldn't say that it's the little sister. If anything, I would say that she's more like the distant cousin. You know, those cousins that you are cool with, y'all rock like that when you were younger, but now that you become adults, you kind of went your separate ways. But when the time comes, if y'all ever link up again, it's nothing but love. A lot of times people get y'all mixed up, but y'all have two very separate personalities and you got your own separate style, but there are similarities and things that people kind of find in common. To me, that's this in comparison to Vanilla 28. I'm not the biggest fan of Vanilla 28, and to me, I don't really get the Vanilla 28 comparison personally. To me, they're two separate fragrances. They just go two separate ways. This was an immediate like. It wasn't a love at first sniff, but it definitely was like a more of a immediate like, versus Vanilla 28 for me, that really had to grow on me, and it's still not a love. I still don't go up for Vanilla 28 like most people do. The Silk Santal, the comparisons with that, I feel like in the dry down, you may detect, you know, remnants of that scent profile, but to me, it's not that either. This stands on its own. It is its own fragrance. By the way, you guys, when I smell this fragrance, along with that bubble gum, I also get the jelly beans. Very prominent, like a bag of jelly beans. Smells really good to me. You guys, to me, this is a sophisticated scent. It also somehow has a playfulness to it. It is sweet, it is sensual. In the opening, it's sweet, it's feminine, it's playful. It has some youthfulness to it, but it's not juvenile in any way to me. And it's not even as sweet as you would think. I know there are comparisons to La Belle. I personally don't have La Belle. I had a decant at some point and I didn't really love that fragrance. I actually forced myself to finish it, the decant that I had, just to get it out of my collection. So for me, this is not spot on to La Belle, because I didn't really care for that fragrance. So I most likely would have not liked this if it smelled just like it. If you know how that goes, when you don't like something, you kind of detect it automatically. That's kind of the vibe that I had. In the dry down, you definitely detect the patchouli. I was afraid of this. I was afraid of the bubble gum. I was afraid of the pear, because pear can go, you know, sideways to me, and also patchouli can as well. And so let me give you guys a understanding of how I got the patchouli. For me, I get the patchouli somewhere in the mid to the dry down, and it doesn't come across dirty. It doesn't come across overpowering. Let me give you an example of something that's got a strong patchouli to me. Flower Bomb. It's not like that. YSL Mon Paris. That also has a very strong patchouli note. And to me, those are like those strong beast mode, even dirty patchoulis. This does not have that. Although it has patchouli, to me, it just really helps to like make this a more sophisticated fragrance, and it takes it a little sexy to me. To me, this is a sexy fragrance. I consider this in the dry down to be sultry, sexy. It's giving sass, it's giving date night, very alluring. That vanilla and patchouli mixed with whatever that rum note is, with the sweetness of the pear and the candy jelly bean. I don't know, y'all, it just works. I didn't know how it would work, but it does. It's not at all what I think most people would perceive it to smell like, so you really just need to get your nose on this. But if you're like very, very sensitive to patchouli and you don't like anything with it, then I guess you wouldn't like this fragrance. But I typically don't lean towards patchouli heavy fragrances either, and I really enjoy it, y'all. You know, I have no problem telling you if I don't. So there are plenty of scents that I just don't care for, and I don't mind saying just that. But this for me actually worked. I liked it, and I think it's gorgeous. Like I said, again, my only gripe is how much I've already had to use, and you know, we just gonna call a thing a thing. This fragrance does not last. It lasts for about, I would say, 3 hours max on skin. Then it becomes like, honestly, I really couldn't smell it anymore after that. And now, I mean, I get it. It can macerate and, you know, do all the things. But this is not my first rodeo with Kayali. And, you know, if it works for you, it works for you. So let's just not get into longevity. But for me, this performs like most Kayali scents perform on me, which is that they don't last very long. And that's just what it is. It's perfect for layering. And I'm not saying that you have to layer this scent. I actually like the scent profile as is and on its own. But, you know, I like to layer. So I probably will, especially because, to be honest, I've just went through so much of it. In order to make this scent last, I would have to layer it to make it perform. That might be a deal breaker for some of you. So if it is, then you know. I would still say to test it out or maybe get the small sample size just to see. It's worth a try, in my opinion. Do I regret the purchase? No. I love it. It's growing on me to become a love. Like, I really enjoy the fragrance. I really think it's a very nice date night summertime fragrance. Like, for the summertime at night when it's like a cool breeze coming through, I think this is super sexy and sultry. I like the vibes. I'm probably one of the rare few who like this more than Vanilla 28. What I don't like is that it doesn't last. But then again, Vanilla 28 doesn't really last on me either. So, you know, I'm not really surprised when it comes to that. Guys, those are my thoughts. You know, I really like the fragrance. I really think this is one of those ones you can look at a million videos, but you really won't know until you try it. So I think you should try it. Now, I want to give you guys some combos. I'm going to go ahead and just put some in here for you guys to see right at the end, and you can just look through them and see what works for you. The combos are endless with this, you know. These are the ones that came and stuck out to me as soon as I got it. I started trying them out. The main fragrance that I spoke about in the beginning, you guys, that reminded me of this. This is Azzaro's Wanted Girl by Night, y'all. This fragrance I have fallen head over heels for, and it has a very similar profile to this, to me. If you guys don't know, this fragrance, it has a reputation of smelling like grape soda, or it's just like a grape, very sweet, very deep, syrupy type of fragrance. I think this has the notes of whipped cream, rum, night blooming cerise, I think is what it's called, and patchouli, y'all. And you do smell the patchouli in here just like you would smell it like in like Flower Bomb. But for me, it works well with the fragrance. Like, it's needed. You need something to break up that sweetness and to ground this fragrance, and that's what it does for me. That's what this gave me vibes for. When I got it, immediately I was like, oh my God, it smells just like that. So I think that's really why I've taken a liking to this, because it kind of reminds me of this. And with this, even though everybody says it smells like grape, there's no grape listed in the notes. Now, I'm not saying that that's not in the composition. I mean, do we really know? You know, they could have left that out, but all they have listed on there is like whipped cream and rum and the patchouli and that night blooming cerise. So it makes me think maybe it's the rum that I'm getting more so. And for me, it's not so much the pear. Like, I'm not getting like a stark pear like you would think, like in your Radiant Nectars or in La Belle. Like in La Belle, I could tell that was pear. For me, the pear is subdued. It's like covered in the rum in a syrupy glaze. Y'all, I love it. And obviously, my main favorite combo is putting these two together. Now, obviously, this is going to give you a nighttime combo. This is more of date night. So you're not going to wear this just whenever, whatever. This is nighttime. This is fall. But yeah, this is what I came up with. Now, I have several others, which would be pairing it with Good Girl. That gives a lovely, sexy combo. So this is just if you want to tweak the fragrance. So the first one that I have, y'all, wrote them down. You can pair this with Yara or Kisa Pink, which is for just a wearable everyday pretty girl scent. If you want to sweeten up the fragrance, some people feel like it's not sweet enough or it's not as sweet as they had hoped, then you can add that with Beyond Romance by Ralph Lauren, and that'll give you that candy sweet jammy fragrance that you're looking for. And then if you want to deepen the fragrance in something that's a little more powerful, then you can pair it with Valentino Donna Born Aroma Intense, which I'll leave a picture up here. And then if you want to boss up the fragrance that gives it a little more oomph, then I would say to pair it with YSL Libre Le Parfum. You guys, if you want to make it a little more creamy or something a little more girly, maybe even a little more juvenile, some might say, you can pair this with Ensemble Gold or Oriana. If you guys want to sexy it up, Good Girl and Wanted Girl by Night are the ones that you need to add. And then just for a few combos that you can do, if you just have like body mist, you could use Dahlia or Chasing Fireflies. Also, you could pair it with Charosa 68, which is the equivalent to like maybe a Baccarat Rouge type of vibe. All of which I've tried out on different texture strips and stuff, you guys, and I really like those. So hopefully I gave you guys some combos and some thoughts to chew on. My slight review on this fragrance is definitely a keeper. It's a staple in my collection, and honestly, I would even purchase it again. Even though it doesn't have the best lasting power, I like it that much. So this was a win for me, y'all. This was the best blind buy of 2024. Whew. Thank God. This was the last purchase before my no buy, you guys. So I'm happy. I ain't mad at it at all. Thank you, Mona, for bringing us a good one. You guys let me know how you feel below. If you got the fragrance, if you plan on getting it, if you plan on smelling it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.